Hello and welcome to the Talk Villa podcast. I'm your host Sumit Paul, and Aston Villa wrapped up the 2025-26 season with a comeback win over Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium on Sunday evening. It was a brace from Ollie Watkins who helped us turn things around in the second half, and it was a fitting way to end what has been a fantastic season. It ends with back-to-back wins over Liverpool and Manchester City to end the Premier League campaign, and of course, how can we forget our Europa League triumph in Istanbul last week. As with every game, I'll go through my 5 key talking points as we have a deeper dive into our win over Manchester City. But first, as always, let's have a listen to the boss himself, Unai Emery, and his thoughts on the game as he spoke to Villa TV.
Really fantastic, outstanding how we finished the season. And Premier League is the most important priority we settled and finish fourth, achieving the next year again Europe, Champions League, and of course beating some teams at the beginning. They were starting contender more than us to be here, but we are fighting fantastic. How we finish winning against Liverpool at home last week and today against Manchester City away is really fantastic. And 65 points, of course, congratulations for the players, congratulations the club, for every worker, congratulations the supporters as well. They were here as well in Etihad Stadium. And Europa League is a trophy, it's a trophy for a long time, after a long time. And of course, it's something make us so proud of the work we did. And to learn today another experience we had here, winning, and how we played, how we were losing 1-0 in the first half, and we were completely not having chances to do something more. The second half changed completely the match, and we were being resilient in the first half. The second half we were dominating, we were scoring goals, having chances, and we came back the result, and really fantastic finishing the season, like more or less we deserve it, because after up and down during the season, I think the players as well deserve it too, and the supporters deserve it to finish like we did.
That was Unai Emery speaking to Villa TV after our 2-1 win over Manchester City on Sunday. So on to my 5 key talking points then, and let's start with how this result was the epitome of Unai Emery's Aston Villa. Now, quite frankly, my expectations were very, very low going into this game. Emery, the staff, his players, all deservedly celebrated our midweek success with a wonderful victory parade in Birmingham, and the party for them no doubt continued long beyond that as well. Even the Villa boss himself sported a dishevelled hairstyle and a hoarse voice at his pre-match press conference, and he even jokingly conceded that it would be difficult for him to select a starting 11 for this game, which kind of hinted and gave some insight into how the rest of the group were faring amid all the celebrations. So in turn, this encounter gave me flashbacks to our trip to Crystal Palace the season before last. Champions League football was already secured at that point, and we were absolutely woeful that day. I think it ended 5-0, but it didn't matter, given the ultimate objective of qualifying for the Champions League had already been achieved, so it was kind of dismissed. This time round, there was even more leeway, as it was essentially sort of a final opportunity for the travelling supporters and the Villa players to enjoy what has been a magnificent season. But the desire, the commitment and the resilience that they showed in that second half to come from behind, win at Manchester City, I believe epitomises Unai Emery's Aston Villa. A handful of games into this season, we looked like we were in all sorts of trouble. No goals, no wins, upheaval off the pitch with Jacob Ramsey's sale, Monchi departing, and how that impacted the group amid all the speculation and reports that came out after. And yet here we are today. We're celebrating not only an incredibly rare win at Manchester City, but another top 4 finish in the Premier League and a trophy on top of it. So amazing, amazing season. And as I say, the comeback, the fight back in the second half on Sunday was the epitome of Emery's Villa. On to the second point, and that is delight for Ollie Watkins. Now, it's fair to say that it was somewhat of a surprise to see Watkins even named in the starting lineup, given as he looked as though he might have had 1 or 2 drinks while he was in Istanbul, and then again on the open-top bus when he gave us that memorable victory speech. Judging by his second half performance, though, in particular, you would never have guessed that he or his teammates had probably been a little bit worse for wear just days prior to this game, as we produced a brilliant comeback in the second half. For Watkins, though, he broke the 20-goal mark this season. He ends with 21 goals and 5 assists, in 55 appearances across all competitions, and having, as he put it, taken off the blindfold, our talismanic frontman has showed once again why he's so important to us, why he's top class, and why he will continue to be a key part of Unai Emery's plans, and there was real delight to see him hit that impressive landmark figure of 20 goals for the season. It hasn't all been easy. He's had goal droughts, he's had really difficult games where he just hasn't been able to get it to stick with his hold-up play, his ability to link things up, but he carried on working hard. As he always says, he works hard in training, and hopefully the benefits come later on down the road. And you saw that even in games. He still was making those runs. He was still getting in the right positions. It was always that sort of last end product that was eluding him. But I'm so glad that he's managed to hit that 20 goal mark for the season. And hopefully he can continue to back that up again next year, as I have no doubt that he'll be leading the line for us once again next season. The third point is Villa's show of class. Now, had there been something more meaningful on the line for us in this game, I highly doubt we would have seen such scenes at the Etihad on Sunday that we did. But I just thought there was real class from Villa's perspective given the occasion. It started with Emery handing Guardiola a gift ahead of his final game in charge of Manchester City. I thought that was a really nice touch from Emery. And it continued with a guard of honour for their departing stalwarts, Bernardo Silva and John Stones. Now, Wayne Rooney has seemingly led the fun police on this one, slamming the decision, criticising for Villa for joining in. But to be quite honest with you, I think we'll take our top four finish, our Europa League trophy. We'll tick this off as a glorified friendly in our stride, and we'll respect what Silva and Stones have done for City with a classy gesture from our part. Watkins in his post-match interviews explained why they wanted to do it and just sort of respect those two players for what they've achieved and what they've done. I've got no problems with it. Maybe it's a little bit cheesy. Maybe we should have just let Man City do their thing and stayed out the way, but I really, honestly couldn't care less. It's just one of those things that was just like a side note to the game, to the season. The Villa players thought that it would be the right thing to do, and who are we to sort of argue and question them? So all respect and all class from Villa. The fourth point is that changes may well be ahead with goodbyes expected. Now, there was a slight tinge of sadness in this game for me, as it's not always clear as to who might be leaving this summer and who is effectively playing their last game for the club. I think it's fairly certain that Emery will make changes to the squad this summer, both to refresh it, to get younger, and to make us increasingly competitive, both in the short term and long term. I think the biggest question marks are probably hovering over Leon Bailey, Douglas Luiz, Andres Garcia, Jadon Sancho, and particularly Harvey Elliott. I think that's a foregone conclusion. But time will tell if they do all indeed move on and who might join them. For me, if I have to decide at the moment, I would say that Luiz and Sancho both move on and they don't come back after their loan spells. I didn't see enough consistently at the very, very top level from either of them to warrant spending the money needed to sign them outright and then to cover their wages. So it's a no for me on those two. I love Leon Bailey. He has had moments, and he had that one season where he was really impactful, and he's played a really key part in getting us to where we are today. But I just feel as though we've come to the end of the road with Leon Bailey, both for his sake and ours. I think it makes sense to part ways and find a permanent solution for him. Garcia, unfortunately, has been blighted by injuries all season. I don't think he's had a real consistent go at sort of getting chances to play at right back, and that's going to play against him in the decision making this summer. I think we need a more reliable option at right back to push Matty Cash and provide that competition. So I think we may well see Garcia moved on and replaced. And then, as I say, foregone conclusion with Elliott. I don't think we're going to change our stance on him in terms of trying to buy him outright unless Liverpool drop his transfer fee significantly. So I think he may well move on as well. But credit to him. I think it must have been a really difficult season for him personally to sort of sit on the sidelines watching this all happen and knowing that he's not going to be involved because of the clause in the contract. He will return to Liverpool, no doubt, and I wish him well. As I say, there was never a bad word from Emery or any of the players about him. He seemed to be really professional and try and work hard in training to keep the competitiveness of the squad level up at least. So, as I say, credit to him. He's played his part, and I wish him well for the rest of his career. On to the fifth and final point, and that is now the players have a deserved break and we aim higher for next season. Now, although the World Cup will obviously keep a significant number of our players busy over the summer, many of them will have a chance to take a deserved break after ending what has been a gruelling season with success. Now, it genuinely wouldn't surprise me if Emery was on his laptop on the coach home from Manchester, analysing this game and then making notes for pre-season. That just seems to be the character that he is. He's obsessed with football, as many of his players have said. But he'll need to recharge over the summer as well as his staff, and I hope everyone has a decent break to go again in the summer. The foundation and standard has been set. We've achieved something really special this season. It's been a remarkable campaign, but hopefully it doesn't prove to be an anomaly. We've seen other teams in the Premier League struggle to maintain this consistency after reaching new heights. Newcastle stand out after their League Cup success, West Ham and their success in Europe, and we've seen what happened to them this season. So that's important that we continue to build in the right way on and off the pitch to ensure that we can continue to look up next season and continue to challenge and compete for major honours and silverware. Try to get accustomed to this feeling of winning trophies and enjoying successful campaigns. The consistency and the brilliance that we've shown over the past 3 years under Emery suggests that we're capable of doing it. But as I say, I don't know if we're reaching that tipping point at this stage with the squad and the age of it. Just the replacing of key individuals, whether that's going to happen this summer or Emery and the club believe we can complement what we've got, the nucleus that we've got in place, and we can go again for one more year at least with many of the same players. It'll be interesting. It'll be fascinating to see how it all unfolds, but it's going to be a busy summer, to say the least, I would imagine. What were your talking points from our win over Manchester City, and how would you sum up this season, and what were your favourite moments? Let me know your thoughts. If you're listening on YouTube, you can leave your comments below. For those listening to the pod via Apple Podcasts, Spotify or other means, please head over to talkvilla.substack.com. You can get involved in the conversation over there by subscribing. That's a wrap on this episode of the Talk Villa podcast. As always, I want to say a big thank you for taking the time to have a listen. Please do subscribe to the pod or channel depending on where you're listening. So as I say, that's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Please give the episode a like or leave a positive review if you've enjoyed it. All your interactions help me to grow the channel, so it would be much appreciated. You can also sign up to the Talk Villa Plus newsletter on Substack for ad-free Villa news, opinions and analysis, all of which is delivered directly to your email inbox. And there's also an option of a paid subscription for bonus content. As I say, all the details will be in the description of this podcast, but for more, please do go visit talkvilla.substack.com and subscribe. So the season is over. It's been a long old slog from the lows to how we started the season to our dip in form after the turn of the year, but more importantly to the highs, that amazing run of form we went on halfway through the campaign, and then ultimately the run that concluded the season, winning the Europa League, and how we ultimately ended in 4th place in the Premier League, and deservedly so. There will no doubt be plenty to discuss over the summer, even though the football is done for a while, so please do look out for more content in the coming months, as I'll discuss transfer news, signings, major developments on and off the pitch, and much more. But for now, villains, enjoy what this past season has brought us. Those memories will stay with us forever, and hopefully we're just getting started. I'll be back with more in the coming weeks, but for now, up the Villa.